How important is the controller to a video game? How much can you condense from a game before it turns into an Atari-like experience? I may or may not answer these and more questions when we take a good look at Pureya. My name is Felipe Pereira Sibioni, FPS, and this is the FPS Factor. Now, let's marble up this review in parts. Here's the marble. It's a Dragon Ball, but it's a marble. What is the marble? Gotta get the marble. Come on, got you. Pureya is a minigame collection where you must gather up your rolled out marbles. With cute pixel graphics, fantastic music, and an addictive gameplay, you cannot go wrong with it. It was made by Alva Majo from the dev studio Mahorariato in Spain. The pronunciation was more Italian, but okay. It was released in 26th of March 2021. It costs $6 full price. It's very cheap, especially for what it offers. Just like the Steam reviews that are overwhelmingly positive, I wholeheartedly recommend this title. If you sort actually by score, this is one of the top ones. Very impressive. To check out why this game is so revered, stay tuned while we take a good look at graphics and aesthetics. The graphics here are simplistic pixel-like, not emulating but capturing the feel of the Atari era games, but not bound by their limitations, fortunately. Cute and to the point. Usually, I'm not a big fan of big pixels like these ones, or 4-bit style as some people would say, like in the Atari era and before the Nintendo Entertainment System. In some games, some indie games especially, that claim to be 8-bits but are some abominations like this. They're very bad. I don't like this style at all. But here, in this case, with Pureya, with a good use of color, the intentionally flatter designs come together in a good aesthetic harmony. It's very important. The main character, in quotes, is this girl, the Pureya player. The title and lots of other names are the romanization of Japanese Pureya, Pureya, Pureyer. Well, the main character is supposed to be this girl. She plays with the toys, but you don't control her during play. She's basically the premise for your characters. You control lots of different characters and objects, each with 9 skins you can unlock and choose to play as. Some are cute, some are cool, some are references to memes and other stuff. It's all very well made, very nice. You have a monkey, you have penguin, a top, bowling ball, a football, helicopter, a whole planet, a flamingo, a sword, and many more. The scenery is flat and very simple without many details. It's most of the time the background is just one color. The shadows are of the pixels are also pixelated, but they're basically part of the models. Very good, very good. Now, before we go to the next section, I pose a question to you. If a goat wore pants and a shirt, would wear it like this or like this? The music here is spectacular, but it's absolutely infuriating to hear outside the game sometimes. Each track is 10 seconds long. It's what plays mostly during gameplay. There are actually lots of small tracks. They are leitmotifs of each other. Sometimes they're the same melody, just using a different instrument. They all reference to the main theme. Well, so in total we have like 3 or 4 tracks. Differently from what you would expect from an old pixelated style game, the soundtrack is not chiptune. Instead, it has a CD quality instrumentation. Wait, CDs are no longer a thing? What do you even call it now? Comment down below. What should I call it instead of CD quality? I don't know, digital quality music? Well, you can hear the instruments as they are. If you hear a piano, it's a piano. If you hear a guitar, etc. The main theme starts with a piano and progresses with the addition of drum circling around the themes. It's a nice high energy music. Parts of it feature in these 10-second songs, but in various instruments, as I said, like guitar, theremin, lots of things. The songs which, in course of play, change one into the other, but they're not bound by the stage they're in. They are usually just rotating. You can also change them however, like if you don't like one specific little track, one little specific 10-second track, you can take it out of the rotation. It's very good. You also don't start out with all of them. You do have to unlock them during gameplay, and then they start the rotation. The full songs, they are from the menu, have 3 variations. It's the menu theme, menu swingu, and menu torera. They are romanizations, as I said, in Japanese from English words or Spanish words, torera. The small 10-second clips of the songs, they are part of these menus. They also have Japanese names like Buffeto, Dorama, Fuara, Gurfu, Haiku, Naifu, Pachinko, Rabito, etc. They are basically interchangeable. If you put this album in your songs playlist, you will start hearing it. Oh, it's pureya. It's gone. Basically only the menu themes and the mixes are the ones that you hear. The mixes are like 7 minutes each. I think together they contain all the music. It's in total, I think, 50 tracks, 54 tracks in total. The OST itself is composed by Alejandro Macià, and you can buy it right off Steam. Very nice. You can also find it in other places where you usually find music to get nowadays, like Bandcamp. Now for the audio. Quote: the audio effects are those you imagine belong to an 8-bit game. That's what I wrote in my original Steam review after playing the game, without checking to see if it was true or not. Kids, always check yourself before you Shrek yourself. Couldn't be further from the truth. The sound effects here are very realistic. The cry of an eagle, whistle of a football match starting, nature sounds, everything is done with pristine, realistic quality, and they fit so well that my brain got working and thought in retrospect that they were beeps and boops from 8-bit games. Not at all. But why doesn't it use a chiptune soundtrack and beeps boops as sound effects? Why is that? To answer that, we have to take a good look at story and mood. The type of story here is like that of a Mario game, mostly an excuse to go and do the stuff that you do. Despite that, the atmosphere and mood that it creates permeates all aspects of play. The story is shown with a small play of a minigame called Pachinko. It's this one where the balls roll down. Then a cutscene of pureya, as I said before, it's player in Japanese. And then when the girl is out of marbles, she goes to reach for more of them on a high shelf. The bowl tumbles as if it was a giant bowl of Cheetos in an infomercial, and they scatter around over marbles. Now you gotta pick it all up. But since it scatters around together with the other toys, you can get some help from your imagination. Yes, the game takes place in the imagination of the little girl. There's marbles everywhere, and now the toys fit their themes. That's why the music and sound effects are realistic. It is inside the imagination of the girl. Back to the story, there are few cutscenes, they're used for some effects, more on that later. But for now, let's take a good look at options and performance. The options menu is very simple with only a few options, all using pictures instead of words. Strangely, or maybe not so much in this case, you cannot rebind your controls. Why is that? We'll talk about it when we take a good look at controls. But the options are not only here in the options part. There's this other place, the collections menu. It's this chest. There you can customize your experience, choosing to adjust your choice of minigames, sounds and skins. More on that in another section. In the options themselves, you have sub-menus for each type of option. You have save data. In your save data menu, you see your playtime, game completion percentage, very good. You can change the save you use. You got multiple saves. You can delete any of them. This is very good, even in a single player game like this, that you usually use only one save, you can have multiple saves. This is very good, a very nice option to have. I wish many more devs would implement this. You can change your resolution, choose between full and windowed, and choose if you wanna see left and right arrows to the side of the game's screen. There's also this sound options. You can adjust the music and sound effects levels separately in increments of 5 from 0 to 10. This is one of the main things that more devs also need to implement. Unfortunately, this game is missing VSync. Fortunately, I didn't encounter any screen tearing. If you don't know about VSync, you can check out my last good look at. It was for Mangavania. Check it out later. I'll try to put a card on here. I don't know how to put a card yet. I'm just starting out on YouTube. If you couldn't notice from my like 5 or 6 subscribers right now. If you liked this video until now and you enjoy it, please subscribe, give me a like, comment, share the video, all that good stuff that YouTubers are always asking you guys to do. Speaking of performance, I did not encounter any problems, bugs, glitches, slowdowns, etc. Fortunately, it was very well optimized, but it's very good to have VSync as an option. I'll ask again, how important is the controller to a video game? And it's what this wonderful minigame collection asks and answers with 2 button presses. You have 2 buttons you use at a time. You can, and this does not include the D-pad. If you use the D-pad, one side is one button, the other side is the other, left and right. You can also use the analog, left or right. They're each its own button. Or you can use A and B, or in the keyboard you have A and D, left and right, or left and right shift keys. You can mix and match them however you like. If you like to use your controller in one hand and the other on the keyboard, you can, no problem. But this game only uses 2 buttons, except on the menu you gotta use the D-pad or arrow keys to navigate, but in the minigames themselves, 2 buttons. That's all. That's why you can't change it in the options. Even though it would be nice to put them however you like. You could have people playing with Donkey Kong bongos or something like that, the crazy things people do on YouTube. As for how the character controls with these 2 buttons, it's entirely the point of this game of pureya. You have lots of minigames. Each minigame has a character that will do an action for each button. Could be going left and right horizontally, pointing left for right and steering to that direction. Could be going in an arc to the left or to the right, turning 90 degrees, jumping, and the other is going back, jumping to the front and then going back with the other button. There's a lot of variety. What type of control you use might impact your experience in each minigame. Experiment around. This game it really shows that restrictions can make for a good creative thinking. This is a fantastic concept. As I said before, of course, you have a couple more buttons. You have to use the D-pad and 2 buttons for confirming and coming back from menus, but the other 2 are the main ones. I'll talk about each minigame in detail when we take a good look at locations. Meanwhile, let's see the thread that connects them all with the gameplay systems. The main objective of the game is to collect marbles. They appear in every minigame and must be collected usually by touching it. They are then used in another minigame, the pachinko, to unlock all the things in the game. Within the pachinko, you unlock minigames, music, and skins. Most minigames start out locked and must be unlocked. There's a cheat code for unlocking it. You can check out on Steam guides or something like that. This video, not a guide, it's a good look at the game, remember. In the main mode, with the purple play button, you have the following gameplay loop. You play 9 minigames for 10 seconds each game. You start the first game, play for 10 seconds, switch to the next minigame, play for 10 more seconds, then go. When you finish this 9 minigames, you go to the pachinko minigame. You use up your marbles collected to unlock the things. When you run out of marbles, you go back to the 9 minigames. This is the gameplay loop. Also, very important to note, despite what it appears to be, when you take a look at the Steam store, you might think this is a WarioWare style game where you play lots and lots and lots of micro minigames, where each individual game is basically a disposable. No, this is not the case here. Each minigame here is carefully constructed with its own set of rules and can be played for a good while until you get very good at it. There's a mode where you can play for however many times you like until you lose. If you are, for example, in this minigame, it's the first one from the list. You have a spaceship. You automatically shoot. You keep shooting, you don't need to press any button to shoot. Your 2 buttons, they control your left and right movement. You shoot asteroids. The asteroids contain a marble each, but each time you shoot an asteroid, it will also launch 3 mini asteroid pieces that might go in your direction to kill you. It might hit other asteroids, destroying them, causing a chain reaction. They all have these little details and fail states. Very good. Each one is very complex. All the minigames have a 4-layer scaling difficulty, with this gauge from blue to green to yellow to red. As you grab more marbles, it gets faster and faster with more obstacles. In the main mode, if you die enough times, the difficulty will fall. This fail state, whenever you get hit or something like that, it's not a very big problem in the main mode. You respawn immediately, but they are the main source of concern in another mode, the arcade mode. It's what I'll call it since they don't have names for it or anything else in the menu. It's all just pictures. I wish the devs would give names to stuff. It's much easier to talk to, like enemies. Some games we don't have name for any of the enemies. Please devs, name your creatures, name your sons. Anyway, you can, back to the arcade mode, you can at any time go to the free play menu and choose any unlocked minigame to play. Not unlike old arcade games, you play them until you lose your life, you get hit, then you go back to the menu. There is difficulty scaling here too. You get like 5 marbles, you go up 1, 10, 20, 25. From 25 marbles on, the minigame is played at max speed and difficulty. Then you lose 1 life. It doesn't have a life system or anything like that. You lose the minigame, back to the menu, and you have to start at blue difficulty all over again. There's also an infinite mode with 10 seconds rotating for all the minigames that you have unlocked. It just lacks the pachinko mode. You earning marbles in all of the modes, if I'm not mistaken, will count to your pachinko marbles. And you might find yourself having to spend 999 marbles to get back to the rotation if you go to the main mode after. It's very easy to get a lot of marbles. Speaking of pachinko, let's talk about it in detail. There's 2 terms from Japanese culture that we need to discuss a little bit. They are pachinko and gachapon. For those who don't know, pachinko is this pinball-like machine where you launch lots and lots of small balls to get to a specific spot. In real life, they are used actually for convert gambling spots in Japan. You get loads of these balls, then go to a place next door where you can exchange the balls for prizes. And then you go to yet another store where you can sell these prizes for money. So it's basically gambling where it's forbidden there. Konami left the gaming space to focus on exactly these pachinko machines. Now, gachapon, they're these little capsules. Look at them, look at how nice they are. They have these little holes so little kids don't choke on them. The Kinder Egg actually is banned from America because the kids might swallow them and choke. That's why Kinder Eggs are banned over there. If they just added these little holes, maybe they won't have such a problem, but okay. Anyway, you get this in a machine that turns good, goes kacha 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 boom, because it's the noise they make, it's the onomatopoeia. Japanese love onomatopoeia. You open it up, you get this paper, take a look now here, and you get, it's a small toy. Look at this guy, this is from Mario. It's the penguin costume. There are loads and loads and loads of this. This is part of my gachapon collection. Sometimes they come with a tag with the game's name. I don't know if you can see it. New Super Mario Brothers Wii. It's from that time. This is a mushroom. You can take off any of the screws. Here you're left with the mushroom only, or have one here that I look at this. It's just a mushroom. I took the top and bottom parts out, but it's this guy. Very nice. This is actually a cell phone charm. They have a little indentation where you can put this and it stays stuck in your cell phone. Very, very nice. Now the paper. They all have collections. Each gachapon machine have a different collection with different games, etc. Here we have the new Super Mario Bros. Wii. Ah, there it is. There's 12 total, with 4 special ones. They're the ones that come with the logo stuck on them. It's very nice. They are usually very well detailed, very well made. Here's a shell. Look at this. Aside from the size, they don't leave much. They don't leave much to compare it to something you find from other toys. I don't know if you guys noticed that I like the Mario Bros series. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Over there. Lots of toys from the figure art series. Anyway, you have lots of different collections. Here's another one from Mario 3D Land. You got these guys. You got a Thwomp with a raccoon tail. You got a Goomba with a raccoon tail. A Boo with a raccoon tail. You got these guys, I don't have any idea of their names. They don't even have a tail. Anyway, I've got loads and loads and loads of these guys. You can usually put them on cell phones or something like an USB, you know? You can differentiate them through the gachapon they use. Very nice. I love them so much. Here in Brazil, at that time when we had this type of gachapon, the small ones, they used to cost less than $1. It was R$3. Now we have some big ones. I was going to buy one. It's like $10 with the converted currency that we have. It's like 50 or so reais. It's a knife to the chest. We use our Monopoly money, the real here. It's all colorful, as you can see. I was going to buy it, but I didn't have time because I had a problem with my hard drive. It wiped out all of my of my gaming captures. I was actually gonna talk about other game this week. It was going to be Strike Sister, another game with ball, but I've lost all my footage. I've lost everything. No. So I'm talking about Pureya today because it's easier to get footage for it. It's much less. It's going to be a much smaller video than that one. This is gonna be a very large video, but it's still smaller than the Strike Sister one. So I don't have right now the gachapon. It's twice this big compared to this. It's like comparable toys to these guys. Very nice. Anyway, gachapon. Back to the game. You play the pachinko in the game to get a gachapon. In the gachapon, you either get a quarter of a stage, half of a music track, or a skin for any of the characters from any of the minigames that you have unlocked. In the pachinko itself, you control the two sides of the launch pads. Each time you launch marbles, you launch 3 marbles at a time. You hold the button down, you control how much strength you put into it, indicated by the meter on the upper sides. You have this green circle that will be in a random spot each time you play the pachinko game minigame. You launch the marbles to get 4 of them into this green circle. Then this middle roulette wheel spins. You can get numbers from 1 to 9 in each of them. 3 equal numbers will give you a gachapon prize. The number of gachapons you get is the number you get in all 3 of them. You get 111, 1 gachapon, 999, 9 gachapons. In the bottom right corner you see a percentage. The percentage of a new non-repeated item. You can get repeated items. It's a common feature of gachapon themselves. You have 12 items, you have 12 toys to collect, so of course you're gonna get doubles and triples and etc. Right? Sometimes it's not a bad thing, you can use them for various things. But not here, you just get repeated stuff. You gotta score more marbles inside the circle. You get 4, you start at 10%. While the roulette is spinning, for each marble you dunk into the circle, you get 10% more chance for non-repeated items, so you gotta be very fast. You dunk the first 3, then you gotta try to dunk as many as you can. It is a skill game in this case. If you time your launch right, you will after a while get 90% to 99% almost every time. Don't worry about it. Sometimes the roulette gets stuck between 2 numbers. Usually when it's a big number you get like 8, then 8, and then the last one gets stuck between 8 and 5 or something like that. There is where the cutscene plays. You have a cutscene with the 2 numbers fighting out, with the cutscene with the numbers being dinosaurs playing baseball, race cars competing, penguins hatching a number, horses dueling. It's random if you win or lose in this situation. It's a cinematic showing you the winning number. If it's yours, you get the number. If it's not yours, you get the other one. It's usually reserved, as I said, for bigger numbers. This is fairly simple. This pachinko minigame, you play it until you run out of marbles to play, indicated at the top center of the screen. Then you go back to the minigames. As I said, that's the gameplay loop. Play the minigames, play the pachinko, unlock minigames, skins, music. If you like some minigames more than others, you can disable any number of them from the rotation or music or any of the skins. You can control it all here. This game gives you full control of everything. There's also the survivor mode, the one with the heart. As I said before, you pick out a minigame, play it until you die, then back to the menu. If you get 100 marbles without dying, you get a golden dot near the game. You can see it right here. This dot might be the most important one in your life later. Cherish it. Between all the minigames, there's two special ones, two special gameplays in this mode. One where you randomly play through all of the minigames. It's the last one where it's sliced as a pizza. And the first one with a chest is where you play all the ones you have selected from your collection. So there's you need to get 100 marbles in either all the games that you want to play, but there's also one where you have to play any game. But what happens when you deselect all the minigames and chose this mode where you only play the games you want? Well, to see what happens, we have to take a good look at the locations later. We'll talk about each and every minigame, how they play, the controls, the character, etc. Here the locations is going to be very different from the normal ones. As I said before, there's also this infinite mode. You can die as much as you want, you just respawn 10 seconds per minigame. If you die, it lowers the difficulty, you keep playing just without the pachinko. That's it. The section basically from now on will be called Combat and Difficulty, because I usually talk about the difficulty of the game in the section. But even though this one doesn't have a combat, it warrants the section title. Here you don't fight anyone, you are just in this game to collect the marbles. So you don't bash anyone in the head. Here you are vulnerable though. The environment is out to get you. If you are a ball bouncing around, you might encounter cactus that will explode you. You are a ship collecting marbles. There's the other ship that shoots cannonballs at you. If you are an eagle flying through the sky, you might hit a rock, and so on and so forth. It is a very difficult game. As I said, you start out at the light blue difficulty. It is slow, you can take your time, you can basically learn or remember how the game is played. Then when you get to red, it's all out, you have to pay attention. You have to be very focused. One small slip up and you die. And in the case of the games that are you die and come back to the menu, it's over, you gotta start all over again. This is a very difficult but very fun game. I'll talk about each of the minigames very soon. We'll take a good look at the locations. On your screen, you are always reminded of the main gimmick of the game, the two buttons. The game screen is the playing field, basically, is 3x4, and outside of it, to the left and right, there are two arrows. Every time you press left or right, even in the menus, the corresponding button lights up a little bit. These can be deactivated, as I said, in the menu, in the options, but it's more helpful than one might think during gameplay. The main menu and overall menus of the game have a white background with moving polka dots, and the title of the game does a little dance, very cute. From this screen you have the main mode, arcade mode, infinite mode, collections, and quit game and options. So let's go to the collections menu. It's the chest one. From here you can see all your unlocked games, musics, and skins. In the upper part you'll see the marbles you have, maxed at 999. Here, same as options, you have submenus. You have them for skins, minigames, music, and to go back. When you enter the skin one, the background turns gray for easier skin viewing. You have another submenu. Here you see each of the 9 unlockable skins for each of the characters. The middle one is special. I'll talk about it later. A lot of the skins are cute, transforming the character you play as into another thing entirely. As I said, sometimes referencing something or memeing something. There's a cheap cow, etc. Lots to choose from. You'll also see how many of that skin you have, up to 9 each. It affects nothing except your completion percentage. Even in the achievements you don't have to get 9 of each of the skins. Don't worry about it. Enter any of the skins and you get this screen where you can uncheck any of them. During play, each time you enter that specific minigame, one of the unlocked skins is picked at random. If you uncheck the skin, it will not appear. It's as simple as that. Both in the minigame and music you have the same system. You unlock them, then they will start appearing. If you uncheck them, they will not appear. In the main game mode, in the infinite mode, and the first mix of the arcade mode, the one with the chest. Now back to the UI talk. Whenever the game autosaves, which is very often, you do not need to save manually. You'll see a floppy disk at upper right corner. This is the predecessor to the pen drive. For those who don't know, it holds a whopping 1.4 megabytes of data. Nowadays, any small game is like 100, 200 megabytes. Hard times. In the pachinko, you have a clock at the bottom left corner, so you don't play past the time you set to stop. It's important to take a couple minutes, pause when a game to stretch, go to the bathroom, grab some water, grab something to drink. At least every half an hour, take a little break of 2 minutes, Take care of your body, kids. In the bottom right corner, you have the start percentage. Above them, the meter for the roulette spin. You have the 3 roulette slots for the number right in the upper center, yet upper still. At the center, you have your marbles. And in the corners, you have your force meter. It measures how much force you launch the marbles with. In the minigames, the UI appears as needed. Each time you collect a marble, a white number will appear right beside it, showing you how many marbles you have collected. That's all. That's there to it. It's all you need. You just playing 10 seconds of a minigame, you just need to see the marble. When you pause in any minigame, in the pause menu you can see continue, back to menu, you have the clock. your difficulty as a gauge, I don't remember how it's pronounced. As I said before, blue being the easiest difficulty, red the most difficult. Now to talk about the camera, I feel it might be a little more zoomed in than what I would like for any of the minigames. And in the prototype version, the minigames were actually more zoomed out. So it is a deliberate design choice to increase the difficulty here. And it does deliver in that front. It's kinda difficult game. The camera will move independently from your character because a good bunch of the minigames have auto scroll. It's actually one of the main ways for you to die. It's to tap out of the screen. But as I said, differs from minigame to minigame. To know which minigames you die from going out of screen, we have to take a good look at locations. Usually, when I talk about a platformer game, in this section I talk about each of the stages, or something like that, each type of environment you're in. Here you have different minigames, so this time I'll talk about each of the minigames, what the left and right controls do for that specific game, their mechanics, and lose conditions. I could not find official names for the minigame, so I'll improvise telling you the name of the main character of that minigame. As always, when I say background, it's a part of the stage that you don't interact with. It's just decoration. If I say environment, it is a part that interacts with. It might be floor, might be the enemies themselves. I said the enemy is in the environment, so you touch it and you die. Something like that. Now let's go. The first minigame is the spaceship one. You are in space. A blue background with dots as stars with a great parallax effect. You automatically shoot, so your left and right movement is what the controls control. From the left and the right you wrap around the screen, meaning if you exit the left side of the screen, you come from the right. You have to shoot these meteors that release marbles that fly down. The marble fly down after you shoot the meteor. Also 3 small meteor fragments, they pop out, they can be shot. These meteors and the meteor fragments are all physics based, they interact with one another. If 2 meteors collide, the 2 marbles will come out and pieces will come out and interact with everything. The game difficulty will rise, making more meteors appear. You lose by getting hit by a meteor. It's not a very difficult one to start, unless you corner yourself. Just don't stay in a single place or the meteors will creep up on you. Watch out for that. 2. Squid. You are in the sea, in an all blue background with parallax bubbles. Very nice. You are a squid. Your movement, left and right, the 2 buttons, is actually an upwards arc either to the left or to the right. It is a negative parabola. Here's a parabola. The arc of it is kinda wide, and you can only go down by not moving. You stop moving, you start to sink. always at the angle that you were going from the last movement. The screen will auto-scroll to the right. It goes faster as it gets more difficult. Your movement will be stopped by the left side of the screen. You will not die, you will simply start to get pushed by the screen. If you move to the left, then you just go up. It is a very useful technique because the up and down limits of the screen actually wrap you around. If you leave yourself to sink, you go out down the screen and come from up. And same thing if you keep jumping. You jump up, you appear down the screen. The marbles are all scattered around going right to left. There are these purple spheres stuff, they move across the screen, usually in sync with each other, but not with the marbles. When you touch one of this purple stuff, you lose. This already is a pretty difficult minigame. You really gotta use the wraparound effect to your advantage. It's a very difficult minigame. Next up, we have the number 3, Eagle. You're near a waterfall, blue water with a very fast white lines going up. In parallax make up the effect of movement in the background. Very nice. It seems like you're an eagle flying down this infinite waterfall, but you stay at all times in the top of the screen. Your movement is left and right, but this time it's stopped by the edges. You get to the edge, you can't go any further. You gotta go back. Both marbles and rocks pass by going up. They are not in sync. You lose whenever you get hit by a rock. This one is very fast. Usually you either get in the groove and get lots of marbles, or you lose basically instantly. You don't pay attention for a second and you hit a rock. Next up, you have the ship minigame. You are in the sea. This dev really likes water stages, huh? Good thing it's a minigame and not a platformer. With an island in the background. Also there's a mountains and a beach. And there's a big ship in the background, but this ship shoots at you with 4 cannons. It shoots up and then the shots come down in the environment and hit you. You are this tiny pirate ship. You can go left and right. Also, like they go on until the edges of the screen. Each cannonball covers a quarter of the screen. So if it shoots also one of the cannonballs it shoots is a marble. So if you have, for example, marble, cannon, you have to go to the left side of the screen. If it's cannonball, marble, cannonball, you have to go to the second fourth of the screen. You get it. Eventually you get hit by a cannonball and you lose. This is another very difficult one. It's very fast. You get shot at a very rapid pace. At the red one, you really gotta practice this one. Next, you have the number 5, the RC car. You're in a field with 2 green colors in the grass. This is the environment. It's with small grass sprites dotting all around. Your movement is left to right, also stopped by the edges. There are footballs lying around. When you hit it from the front, you make it go up. If you hit the upper screen, you score a goal. It makes then a line of marbles go down. If you are fast enough, you can collect more than one marble per line. Very nice. There are white flags in red poles all around the environment. If you touch it, you lose. Up to now, this is the easiest game yet. It's very easy to get lots of marbles. This is a very fun game. Number 6, Bet. You're in a cave with a purple background and lots of purple elements with parallax. The screen will auto-scroll to the right, as always faster in higher difficulties. Your movement, similar to the squid, is a negative parabola, but this has a narrower open, meaning you move less, quicker, and you fall much faster. You go to the left or to the right. There are lots of stalactites and stalagmites all around in different heights. Touch any of them and you lose. Also, here we start having the additional lose condition of going out of the screen, either to the left or to the right, or up or down. So don't touch anything. Lots of stages will have this. With the auto scrolling, you gotta stay sharp for the screen not catch up to you, etc. The marbles are also appear in the environment. You gotta collect them. Sometimes they are near a stalactite, stalagmite. Other times they're in your path. This is a very hard minigame. This is pretty brutal. You can get a good rhythm going. You'll be much better at it. Just practice, as I said. Number 7, Spider. Here you go down a chimney, an attic. I have no idea what this place is supposed to be. It's a brown background with lighter brown dots, whatever this is. This minigame has a brown wall, limiting even more the space you have, but you can hit it without a problem. You are, as I said, a spider. You're at the top of the screen. You swing in a pendulum motion, left and right. Hold the button to go to the left and to the right. You can hold to stay at the edge of that side. When you release the button, you go down the middle. The marbles and other stuff go up the screen. This other stuff in the environment are these gray bars, faster as always in higher difficulties. You can get caught up in these gray bars, then you go up the screen and lose. I'd say it's medium difficulty, not much to say about this minigame. 8. Bouncing Ball. You are in the desert with a blue sky, sun, bushes, and some other desert structures making up the parallax of this background. Very beautiful. You are a ball that bounces constantly. You can go left and right while the screen auto scrolls to the left this time. You are stopped by the edges, you don't die by going out of the screen. The marbles will pass by to the right in different heights, together with some cactus of diverse heights and shapes. If you hit a cactus, you lose. This is a very fun minigame with lots of options of play. You can stay far in front if you are very brave, but you will have a bad time. Stay in the back and middle, at least in the beginning, to get up the rhythm of the game going. But then you could get caught up in a bad spot. This is a very good one. I love this one. Number 9, goat. You have this stone wall with various gray colors in the background. You are a goat. You constantly jump, non-stop too, same as the bouncing ball. You can move left and right. This time you wrap around the screen to the left or to the right. Very nice. There are platforms in the environment. Some of them have marbles. You can go from under them. You don't need to jump while avoiding the platform, then going to the platform. You can go from up the platform and just jump. But after you step on a platform once, it will crumble, so you gotta move all the time. You can go farther up from the top of the screen. You can use the platforms and you can grab marbles that are still to come. It's kind of dangerous. If you only die if you fall down the bottom screen. This is another reflex intensive game. I love this one. You can get a rhythm going to get 100 marbles in no time though. It's not that hard. Number 10, paper airplane. You're in the blue sky with semi-transparent clouds in the background. You're a paper airplane. The stage will auto-scroll to the right. You maintain yourself always in the left. The two buttons move you up and down. While angling the tip of the plane, you can hit the ceiling and floor of the screen, no problem at all. You just stop moving to that direction. Just gotta go up and down. There are these balloons that pass through, going usually diagonally up to the left. They are floating. You can pass through the balloons safely if you hit them from the middle of the airplane or the back, from up or down. But if you hit the balloon head on with the tip of the airplane or very near the tip, you will lose. So be careful with that. The marbles are just passing through there in the air. This minigame is harder than it looks. The momentum of the airplane may take you by surprise. Practice this one. 11. Snowboard. You're in a snowfield with a gray background and white dots passing by you. Your snowboard going down. You're actually going forward and the camera is pointing down, so same thing. You're at the top of the screen, always. You can move left and right. Here, instead of going to the sides of the screen, you move the screen to the left and right. It seems like the sides are infinite. You can keep going to the left and you keep getting more and more screen. Very nice one. This is a very nice variation. There are both marbles and rocks scattered all around. It's the normal affair. Hit a rock, you lose. Your movement will be max at a 45-degree angle in your turns. Be careful of that. This is my favorite, I think, minigame of the bunch. It's another fast reflex one. I love this one, the ones that are like this. But with the screen moving and the infinite left and right, you really get that snowboard feeling. I love it very much. The atmosphere of this one is perfect. I love it. 12. Monkey. You are in a forest, green background, you're a monkey, hanging from the lower edge of one of these many vines. The screen auto scrolls to the left. You can go left and right on the vines. In between vines, both marbles and coconuts will fall. More coconuts in greater difficulties. You die either by going out of the edges of the screen, left or right, or if you touch a coconut. It is very easy to get cornered in this minigame, but it's not very hard if you pay attention to what you are doing. 13. Cable car. You are in a green forest. You are a cable car. In the lower part of the screen, you can go left or right. While the screen pans up, the marbles will fall down, and you pass up trees. The edges of the screen are walls. You can pass through them, wrap around, or you die. Don't die either. The trees will kill you, but only their foliage. The trunk is actually background, so you can pass up safely. This is another very relaxed minigame. Maybe it's the grass that gives it this feeling? I don't know. Fire truck, number 14. You are a fire truck going to the sides of a very large building. Lots of square windows go by. Some of them are on fire. Others have marbles. The fire truck will move to the right automatically. You control actually the little car above. It extends and retracts in a diagonal movement up to the upper right and down back to the lower left. It goes almost the top of the screen and then back down near the truck. You only lose if the little car hits a fire. This is more difficult than it seems. Look ahead not to get cornered here. This is a very difficult one. 15. Flying squirrel. With a blue sky and lots of leafless trees in the background, you are a flying squirrel going down the tree. The screen moves up, you move left and right. You can wrap around the screen to the left and right. On the way down, there are both marbles and pine cones. If you hit a pine cone, you lose. You can pass through the tree branches that house the pine cones safely, don't worry about that. This is another high-speed reflex game, very nice. Next up, number 16, Flamingo. You're a big flamingo walking in a beach with palm trees in the background. The screen auto scrolls to the left. Now here we start having two different actions, one for each button. The left button will extend the leg of the flamingo. The longer you hold the button, the further it will go. The leg starts up in the air. When you release the button, it steps where it is. The right button will make the flamingo skip to the right. In the floor there are both marbles and shells. If you step on a shell, you lose. The back skip can hit the shells too, you have to be careful here. The right side of the screen will kill you too. If you go all the way to the left, you cannot pass the edge of the screen. you keep making small steps instead. This is a very difficult one of the most difficult minigames of this game. The leg moves very fast, it's hard to see sometimes where it will land. A lot of practice is needed for this minigame. Next, number 17, Frog. You are in a river with 3 columns of lily pads. The lily pads are the environment. Together with the trunks, the water is the background. You are this little frog. The screen auto scrolls down. Your movement is always in a diagonal. You move it diagonally up, left or right. Each time you press the button, you automatically go to the next lily pad. You can't go to a lily pad that you can't see up. If you are on the upper edge of the screen, you can't move. And the screen does not wrap around. If you get below the screen, you lose. In between these lily pads, both marbles and logs will pass by. You also lose if you get hit by a log. Only the part of the log outside of the water counts for that. You have a part that's inside, you can see here. It doesn't count, you can pass through it, but if you hit the part that's above the water, you lose. This one is very fast, very frantic, it's very good, I love it. 18. Penguin. You are in a frozen land with a blue sky, mountains in the back. You are a penguin. You platform through the ice environment. The screen auto scrolls to the right. Your left button will make you go backwards slowly, you walk back. Your right button jumps with a good arc to the right, so you jump and sometimes you go back to the left. If you keep the jump button pressed after you jump, you move to the right very fast. There are vertical and horizontal platformers, marbles all around, there are pits. The edges of the screen, left and right, don't let you pass, but you will die if you get trapped between the wall and the left screen, of course. If you fall down a pit, you also die. This is basically a mini platformer, very cute and kinda hard. I like this one very much. Number 19, Seahorse. In the water once again. This dev really loves water. You are a seahorse falling down the water. You can move to the left and to the right. There are loads of bubbles going up. You can stand up on the bubbles. And they can be pushed to the sides if you hit it from the sides and keep going. The bubbles will also interact with one another. If you go out the screen, either up or down, you lose. Take care. But the left and right edges are just walls. The marbles, they are all about in the way, going up a bit faster than the bubbles, and can get hidden behind them, so look out for them. This is kinda slow, but it's harder than it looks. You will fall down out of the screen very easily. Take care. 20. Sword. In a castle, it's in a war, you are a sword protecting a crystal heart. You move left and right with your base. The base of the sword is always pointing to the heart. The tip of the sword is always pointing out. You move basically in an arc. Both arrows and marbles will fly to the heart from all directions. You can cut both of them. But here, if you cut a marble, you don't get the marble. You must let the marble pass through and reach the heart for you to collect it. You must cut all the arrows, either by passing through them or just staying in the direction they are coming from. If an arrow hits the heart breaks and you lose. This is one of those you think you do better than you do, actually. Especially if you start cutting marbles and lose your groove. Concentrate here. This is a very difficult one. 21. B. You are in a field full of white daisies. Look, you are a bee flying around. The screen auto scrolls up. If you go above or below the screen, you will lose, but left and right sides of the screen wrap around. You are always moving. The left and right buttons will only angle you to the left or to the right. If you keep holding the same button, you will start going in a circle. So you move just like the image of a bee that we have in our heads would move, you know? There are marbles all around. There are also some carnivorous plants. They are a green X with a pink and red flower. Take care. If you hit one of these plants, you lose. It is kinda dizzying with all the flowers, and bee movement can get pretty hard when it hits the red difficulty. Take care. 22. Rubber duck. You are in the longest bathtub ever. You are a rubber duck in the water. The screen auto scrolls to the right. You are almost at the left edge. You control going up with the right button and down with the left. Since you are a rubber duck, you have the rubber duck physics. Without holding any button, you just stay afloat the water. You hit a button to jump, you hit the other button to submerge. You can hold down to go all the way to the bottom. Both in and out of water, there are marbles and sponges going to the left. You can stand on the sponges, but if you get caught between the sponge and the left edge of the screen, you will lose. 23. Crab. You are once again at the sea. You control a crab. The screen auto scrolls down. Your left and right buttons control you going one step to the left or to the right. You move a little bit, and each time you do, you shoot out bubbles from your claws down. It also have a little knockback for you. You go up a little bit. So if you shoot too much in succession without stopping, you go outside of the bound, going up, and you lose. If you stop shooting for just a bit, you go down to your initial position once again. Both left and right edges wrap around the screen. You have coming up some algae clusters and coral reefs. You can get caught up in either they will push you get up the screen, and then you lose once again. You can easily go left or right to get rid of them though. When you shoot a bubble and you hit an algae, it will uncover either a marble or a pointy shell that might hit you. This kills the crab. 24. Minecart. In a mine, you are a minecart. The screen appears to be auto-scrolling to the left, but the physics consider basically the screen to be static. It's just the background movement. You control going left to right, up to the edges of the screen. No wraparound, they halt you. Both marbles and big rocks will fall straight down to you, get hit by a rock, and you lose. Another basic one, harder than the eagle one. This is basically the reverse of the eagle one. Now, sailboat, minigame number 25. This minigame is actually from a previous Majorariato game called Shipped. You are in the sea, but it's all hexagons. The water is different shades of blue hexagons, and the islands dotted all around are also hexagons. The ship here controls, like the B one, the B minigame, you steer the ship to the left or to the right. But here it has a bit of a lag to start going to steer, you know? The screen auto scrolls down. You have to collect the marbles around the sea while you avoid hitting an island. If you hit an island, you lose. Also all the edges of the map will kill you too. This is a pretty hard one because the movement of the boat is intentionally awkward. It's very easy to get your side of the ship caught up in an island if you're not careful. 26. Helicopter. You are in a city full of construction equipment. You are a helicopter flying around, gathering up the marbles. The screen auto scrolls to the right. Here your movement is very unique. When you start the movement from a resting position, you start ascending in a positive parabola, but you can interrupt this movement making a sign. You can also rapidly tapping left and right, you can go to the right, left and up in a straight line, meaning you can move however you see fit as long as you can learn how to use the controls. There are lots of demolition balls scattered around. If you hit them, you lose. This is incredible, commendable what the dev accomplished with these two buttons in this minigame. It is an excellent movement pattern. It is also, because of that, one of the, if not the most difficult minigame. You really gotta get the hang of it. This one is gonna wrap around their brain. 27. Mouse. This is like the goat one, but falling down. You are a mouse. The screen auto scrolls up. You must climb down as this mouse. You can go left and right. Contrary to what one would expect, these minigames left and right edges will wrap around. Very nice. But going either above or below the screen will make you lose. Some of the platforms are cracked and will break down as soon as they are stepped on. This is a very fast minigame. It's a pure reflex one. Take care. 28. Moon. You are in space. You control a moon orbiting a planet. Marbles will fly from the left to the right. Here the movement is the following. You hold right to orbit clockwise, hold left to orbit counterclockwise. If you let go of the button, you will keep your momentum going. You always maintain a certain distance from the planet you're orbiting it, after all. From the planet itself, they will attack you. The planet has 3 attacks. A white and red rocket will fly straight away. There are green rockets, they will home in on you a little bit. There's also a rotating satellite dish that shoots a laser beam intermittently at you. Here, this minigame, your movement is simple, but during play it can get very confusing. It's pretty challenging. Despite that, after you master the movement, you get the difficulty of the gameplay itself. I think it's almost on par with the helicopter one. 29. Snake. You are in a desert. You are a snake. The screen auto scrolls down. Your movement here is based on your head. Have you ever played Snake? Basically that. Each time you press a button, you turn 90 degrees to the left or to the right. If you are pointing up, press to the right, you move to the right. Press right again, you go down. Right again, left. Once again, right, you turn up. It's easier to play than to explain it. There are marbles and cacti coming down all the edges of the screen, make you lose. Touching the cactus will also make you lose. I loved playing Snake games on these old phones. It's these Nokia ones. So this one was basically second nature to me, but it's a kinda hard minigame if you never played it before. 30. Jet ski, the final water minigame. There are too many water minigames here in this game. You are a jet ski. The screen auto scrolls to the right. You can move left and right. Here, going out of bounds will kill you. And if you stand idle, you get pushed to the left. You start positioned at the center of the screen, perpendicular to your position. All around the screen, other boats and marble will cross. If you get hit by a boat, you lose, of course. This is another one that it's harder than it looks. It's pretty fast, and your turns take a moment, so be careful with that. 31. Bowling ball. In a bowling lane, you are a bowling ball. This screen auto scrolls. You roll automatically. You keep up to the upper edge of the screen. Your movement is left to right. Lots of marbles and bowling pins are all about. If you hit a pin, you will not lose automatically. You will bump off of it and bounce. If you hit the darker brown edges of the screen, you will lose. This minigame has very good bouncing physics, and it's pretty difficult considering the narrow play space you have. I like this minigame very much. Finally, number 32, you have top. You are in the street, you are at top. The screen auto scrolls to the left. Your movement is like that of the penguin, only inverted. Your right button makes you go backwards to the right. Your left button jumps you to the left. And if you keep the button pressed, when you land, you keep going to the left. Hitting a wall here will not kill you, unless you get to the edge of the screen because it's auto-scrolling. If you get to the right edge of the screen, you lose regardless. You get marbles as they appear from the left side. There are balls rolling around. If you jump on those and you make them pop, you get some extra marbles. Very nice. If you hit these balls on the side, you fall down and you lose. This minigame is harder than the penguin one. Maybe because it's going left and we as gamers are used to going to the right. I don't know. Anyway, that's all of them. Or is it? Now, if you remember earlier, I said in the collections menu you can choose to eliminate minigames for the first random game selection, right? What happens if you eliminate all the minigames and choose to play at the random selected minigames, or the normal mode for that matters? Then you get the number 33, the hidden ball game. You are in a gray box. You are a big white ball. You are in the lower edge of the screen. You can move left to right, and you can wrap around the screen. A smaller white ball bounces on your ball, bounces off the ceiling and walls. Marbles will appear around the screen. The smaller ball hits them and you catch. If this ball passes you and gets to the bottom edge of the screen, you lose. This is basically Arkanoid without obstacles, only with marbles. It's a very simple game. You don't really end this game. There's no ending per se. It's an arcade style minigame collection. It's meant to be high scored after you unlock it all. Once you unlock all the music and minigames, you will have credits rolling and you will get a cutscene where you see a golden marble. Ooh. From then on, those golden marbles will start appearing in all of the minigames. You can collect them and use them same as the normal marbles in the pachinko, where they will be launched together with the others. If you hit one of the green spaces, you get a chance to get a golden skin for any of the characters. It's the last skin that couldn't be accessed before. You had the 8 skins and there's one in the middle that was shadowed. This is it, it's the golden skin. This will be indicated by a newly appeared dot besides the star percentage. Now for the achievements, most of them you will unlock naturally as you play. You get one for getting your first jackpot on the pachinko. This is just, a gate style achievement. It's a start the minigame. 2 of them for getting lots of marbles in a single turn of 9 minigames, 50 and 70. You get them as you play. There's one for holding 999 marbles. You will get it eventually. Just don't spend it and you get it. There's one for seeing the ending. One for unlocking a gold skin. Not hard at all. There's one for getting 100 marbles without dying in any of the minigames in the survival mode. Choose the minigame you like best, you are best at, and play away. It's not like you have to do all of them right. There's one, the last achievement, 888. I'll talk about it. There's another achievement for unlocking all minigames, music and skins. After you start getting just the skins, golden inclusive, this is just a matter of time, just like all the other achievements, except for one. This last one, however, is the achievement that will make you either quit the game or make you play 50 to 100 more hours to get it. It's the 888. Grab 100 marbles without death in each mini game. There are 32 mini games. You will have to really master all of them. Playing them in ready difficulty for most of the time, love it or leave it. It's this game's 100% mission. The game usually takes about 4 to 6 hours to unlock everything and get to the ending. You know, it's either a quick game to play, or you will just keep playing it to get the 888. I still haven't got it. Up to this time, I'm still to redo the capture of the footage of the game, because as I said before, I've lost all my gaming footage. I had a lot of games that I had footage of. I lost everything. So I'll replay Pureya. Let's see if I can get the 888. If I do, I'll show it here. It is kinda difficult to follow up a minigame collection. So if there's a wishlist thing that I could say about this game, make a second one with more minigames. I don't know, I have no idea. Let's go just to the conclusion. It is a wonderful time playing this game. You can either pick it up and play just a couple of hours to pass the time, or go on diving and master everything. Just play this game. It's no wonder it's one of the most positive games on Steam. You do have to play it. That's it. First video of the year. Here's to a 2025 full of videos, full of great games for all of us to play. Hopefully full of my videos for you guys to watch. Thank you so very much to everyone who stick with me until the end of the video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so very much.